weapons, fast-paced gameplay, doom slaying, doom slayer, shields, maces, giant robots, giant monsters, riding dragons, medieval style gameplay, all of it combined into something absolutely epic. Or so it would seem. Greetings ladies and gents, my name is Hilso, the bearded Balkan blabbermouth, and I am discussing, and today I will be talking about a game that I didn't expect to talk about because I am probably never gonna be able to play it in time for it to be relevant, or I will not have a strong enough PC to play and I will just watch someone stream it and gawk at it as I have been doing. But I didn't think that I would be talking about it and about the surprise that it delivered, but not in a good way. I'm talking of course about Doom: The Dark Ages. This is a game that a lot of people, including myself, waited for it to exist and to be released, because combining all the things that I just spoke in the intro and having it all in one game, and having that game be Doom, the next installment of Doom, something that since 2016 and even before that, since the original Doom, we have known it to be a brutal first-person shooter with epic animations, epic enemies, epic progression, and overall epic epicness. And everyone was excited, everyone wanted to play that game. I wanted to play that game, and I was like, yeah, my PC is gonna melt, but I might actually try to run it one time, because holy fuck, the system requirements are so high. But it didn't deliver for some reason, and I'm here to try and find out why. So what we're seeing here is the current Steam charts. This is live for Doom: The Dark Ages, and as you can see, the things are not good. We have already been through the opening weekend, which was on 18th of May, and the record there was 31,470 players, which is the peak that this game reached, and 31,000 is not a good peak for an installment of Doom. For comparison, Doom 2016 had 44,271, but this was the first game in several years that basically revived the series, and it was received a bit oddly by PC players. However, it did strike a major success in terms of sales and in terms of revenue and in terms of playability. Then Doom Eternal come along, and now you can see that the numbers are completely different. This is a game that was released in 2020, and check this out, 104,000 concurrent player records. This game was amazing, and again it broke a lot of seedings and a lot of number records. It sold amazingly, it made a ton of money, and of course its software was very happy with it, and the players were very happy. 90% overall likability. Current players are 5,000, which is more than some of the current day games that are being released. And now when we get to Doom: The Dark Ages, you have an 85% likability and 14,000 people, which is not bad when you compare what's happening with the game overall. However, it is very low for a game of this franchise, especially when that game is the third game and people were used to what they're expecting. And I must say something, I kinda understand some of the reasons that probably players don't want to buy it on PC, because this game is on day one Game Pass, and even though we know that Game Pass has already been proven to not be a factor or such a major factor into gaming sales on Steam and on PC, because we have games like Expedition 33 and the Oblivion Remaster, which are both games that came out a little earlier this year, and they're already broken a lot of numbers on Steam, and both of them were day one Game Pass. It is something that you can consider in this case for several other reasons. First of all, the price tag. Doom: The Dark Ages is sold for a $70 price tag. And I know what you're gonna say. Okay, but this is the normal. This is what most games are going to be sold at, and this is going to become the new $50 and the new $60 price from the days past. And you might be right. Yeah, we are going to eventually probably have to come to terms that the games are going to become more expensive. However, we're not going to accept that without some conditions. We're not going to accept that without sufficient material and sufficient thing to receive for these $70. And I'm going to tell you exactly why people are not going to let this go, because we recently had a game called Expedition 33 for a modest price of $50, which was actually on a sale in the first opening week, which is absolutely amazing. This game has between 30 and 60 hours of gameplay moderately, and if you truly want to be a completionist and truly want to do everything, you can go much higher than that, and none of these hours feel hollow. I am on 42 hours, I think. I just finished the main story and I'm doing side quests, and I can tell you there isn't a single solitary hollow moment that just feels forced to prolong the game in this game. It is all thick with story, with things to see, and with stuff to explore that feel amazing and natural, and that is for the price of $50. Then we go to Oblivion, a game that I haven't played yet. However, you can potentially lose yourself in that game indefinitely, because that's what Elder Scrolls games are. And again, you have the price of $50. Yes, it's a remaster. However, it's a full visual and gameplay remaster. It's an amazing remaster of a 19-year-old game, which, if you ask me, takes at least as much effort as to create a new game from scratch at this point. And then we have Doom, a game that reportedly has around 10, 15, maybe 20 hours of gameplay. Yes, it is a different kind of game. It is a first-person shooter. However, it is a game that is shorter. And for a price tag of $70, people are not probably going to be too keen on buying it. And especially when you have it on Game Pass, they're going to go there and play it as part of the subscription service, which doesn't mean that the game is not liked and that the game is not played, but it means that people are not keen on ending their money on buying it in the first place. They rather enjoy it, however, not pay the full price and wait for a sale to acquire it for themselves for the future, which both speaks that the game is good, and I'm not going to talk about the gameplay a lot because I've only seen streams of several people, but it also speaks that people are not that impressed as to surpass the Game Pass and just go for the buy itself, because they don't feel like it deserves to be bought at that price. And I understand that. First of all, we have several things that hardcore Doom fans have already told me that they miss. They miss this guy, Mick Gordon, as the composer of the music. If you know, the Doom music for 2016 was created by this, and it's still one of the best soundtracks in video games to this day. It is hardcore to the bone, and it gets you pumped up and wants to make you aggressive and make you put that aggression into slaying demons in the game. That is what his music did, and that is what a lot of people enjoyed. And the second thing is something that I saw in Doom Dark Ages while watching live streams, and that is a somewhat lack of glory kills. And you know what glory kills are if you have played Doom at all. Glory kills are those kills that have a quick time animation that you somewhat control when an enemy is in a certain state, and it is brutal, it is graphic, and it is visually satisfying to the core. This is almost non-existent in Doom Dark Ages. Most of what I have seen being done when you have a special light flashing on an enemy is to just kick him, jump on him, or bash him with the shield, which, yeah, it's okay. However, it's not what Doom is remembered for, or at least one of the things. I certainly am someone who remembers Doom Eternal with its amazing glory kills, and to me this is a bit of a letdown. It's not making the game unplayable or anything. It's still a great game, and from what I've seen, the gameplay is nice and the music is nice, but it's just not the same. And when you add the $70 price tag, then you get a lot of things piling up that would turn people away from buying the game, in my opinion. And then we go to another thing that I think is one of the key factors, at least for people like me with let's say medium gaming setup. The system requirements are absolutely out of this world. I know that this is a game that is from 2025. It is a new release. It is something that we as gamers probably in the future will have to upgrade PCs very much and very soon. My PC is 8 years old and I don't have any leg to stand on when I'm personally saying about this game. However, I've heard a lot of people with newer PCs that are still struggling to play this game, and I can see why. As you can see, the minimum is 16 gigabytes of RAM with 32 gigabytes of RAM for recommended. You have ray tracing capable GPUs with 10 gigabytes dedicated VRAM, and this is for the recommended, and this is for the minimum. Again, ray tracing capable GPU with 8 gigabytes dedicated. It examples NVIDIA RTX 2060 Super or better and or AMD RX 6600, and this is a 3080 and a 6800 or better. It's definitely not something to sniff at because it's absolutely horrendous in terms of the system requirements, and it's sadly not due to optimization or something else. It's just what the game requires to run smoothly. Whether or not that is something of a turn off for most gamers, I personally don't know. In my opinion, it would be because the games are asking too much from us as it is, especially with the prices and everything. And if the gameplay doesn't deliver and if you have other issues, then the whole thing becomes pointless. For instance, I was able to play Expedition 32, which is a visually amazing game of every sort of way possible, and I was able to play it with my 8-year-old computer pretty much seamlessly on medium graphics, and it was nice. It was good. It wasn't the best graphics, and I know they can go better, but that's on me. However, when you have newer games, things should be on both sides. On one hand, players should be prepared for games that will be more and more demanding on the PCs, yes. However, if games are going to be demanding more for the players in terms of their setups and gigs and stuff like that, they should provide the amazing quality of graphics and gameplay that would come with that upgrade. And I agree with that sentiment a lot, because you're paying for something to look at something, and sadly one thing that I'm going to say is that I'm not seeing that much in Doom Dark Ages. The game is visually stunning, however I don't think that it is very applicable to have these system requirements. I might not know a lot, but at least I see this, and you can see some of the graphics here. I mean, they do look amazing and they do look quite realistic in my opinion, especially for the game. The details are amazing. This guy looks like Iron Maiden's mascot. However, again, you see some stuff that don't quite look that realistic in my opinion, and I would argue that they could have been done better, or the game would have been optimized better. I don't know. Again, that's my humble opinion. I might be wrong on that. However, I do know that these things that I said in this video are somewhat of a turn-off for a number of people. Maybe not a lot, but a significant number that certainly has influenced the low numbers that we are seeing over here. But anyways, that's all I have for this video today. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Do you think one of the reasons that were discussed in this video are the things that brought the numbers down? Do you think that the numbers will go up? Do you think something else will happen? Please tell me what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this video if you did so until now. Press the like and subscribe button if you want to join my channel, and if you want to support the channel and my mission to helping homeless animals and animals in shelters, click the join button and become part of the DiscussThing Guild. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Heroes. This was DiscussThing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers and stay fresh.